The Department of Justice filed a civil rights lawsuit in 2024 against Southwest Key Programs, one of the federal government's largest contractors for migrant child shelters. The complaint documented a multi year pattern. Shelter employees had sexually abused children in custody. In some cases, minors were threatened into silence. In others, they were taken offsite entirely. This contractor, Southwest Key Programs, wasn't patching potholes or running supply lines. They were paid over $2 billion through Health and Human Services to manage federal shelters for unaccompanied migrant children tasked with day to day care, housing, medical treatment, transportation, and direct supervision of minors in U.S. custody. They were not just operators, they were government proxies acting under the full weight of taxpayer authority. Their job was to carry out our immigration system's will. Instead, they exploited it. The DOJ didn't just allege misconduct, it sought an injunction to stop the abuse, along with financial restitution for victims. The case included multiple rape allegations, one involving a minor under SKP supervision, and documented that staff failed to report sexual assaults, covered up incidents, and in some cases were never disciplined or removed. Whistleblowers filed formal complaints, including with the HHHS Office of Inspector General. Internal audits showed staff were not properly vetted, and SKP had misrepresented its compliance in government filings. Then came the erasure. In March 2025, under Attorney General Pam Bondi, the DOJ dismissed the case. No trial, no settlement, no payout. The official excuse? That HHS ended its contracts with SKP, so future liability was no longer a concern. But that logic addressed optics, not abuse. The government admitted the facts and then buried the remedy. Internal DOJ memos revealed that Lisa Blatt, SKP's lead attorney and a top Supreme Court litigator, argued directly to DOJ leadership that compensating victims might incentivize more illegal crossings. That language was echoed in the DOJ's own brief. The goal wasn't justice, the goal was containment. Pam Bondi didn't originate the case, but she ended it. Under her authority, the only federal attempt to obtain restitution for those children was wiped out, quietly, without correction, without consequence. This wasn't Southwest Key's first scandal. In 2018, 2 Arizona shelters were shut down after repeated abuse. One staffer was convicted of molesting boys while knowingly HIV positive. Another took a child to a hotel and paid him for sex. Co-workers stayed silent. Some actively covered it up. The 2024 lawsuit named these events directly. DOJ recognized the pattern, then it backed away. Since the dismissal, no one in Bondi's circle has commented. No hearings, no indictments, no civil penalties, not even a press release. The contractor's federal eligibility remains active. They're still eligible for government funds. And while the children got nothing, SKP's next CEO got a raise. This case wasn't buried because the facts were unclear. It was buried because the facts were too clear and too politically dangerous. When a $2 billion federal partner can oversee child rape, lie to the government, dodge accountability, and still stay eligible for future contracts, it tells you everything about who the system protects, not citizens, not children, but contractors, fixers, and institutional allies. If abuse this documented can be wiped from the record because it's inconvenient, then justice is no longer a process. It's a privilege reserved for the politically useless. And make no mistake, this wasn't inherited. Trump's HHS funded it. Trump's administration ignored the first wave of abuse. The contractor was already under fire by 2018. It stayed funded. It stayed protected. And the same people who now claim to defend children ran cover when it mattered. Pam Bondi was appointed by Trump. Lisa Blatt donated to him. The system closed ranks. Left, right, doesn't matter. Power shielded power. This isn't just a case about shelters. It's a stress test for institutional integrity. It proves what happens when legal, political, and financial actors agree that exposure is a greater threat than abuse. You weren't meant to hear this story. The binder nothing burger Zionist journalists aren't talking about it. You weren't supposed to connect the names, but now you have. This is Index Red. I'm not MAGA. I'm not the middle. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not the left. I'm the audit.